Hey, George Black Cat McGraw. How's it going? You're the first one here. Let me know if the levels are okay. At least you're the first one to comment. And I'm even drinking a pumpkin spice latte. Yes, I am a basic bitch. Didn't know that was news, but yeah, very much so. Let me just make sure that this is all set up proper. And okay, got that. Cool. So yeah, I just picked a topic to talk about today, but we can talk about pretty much anything. I did want to just field some suggestions from people because one idea I had for a video was to talk about horror movies that are perfect to watch when you're by yourself. I feel like there's a pretty good distinction between horror movies with like girlfriends, horror movies with crowd, horror movies in theaters, but Awesome Depth, that's a great game. But I really wanted to focus on horror movies that like are really key for when you're alone, because to be perfectly honest, I feel like more and more people are watching movies alone. I mean, people are a bit more isolated now, and going to theaters is an expensive and often frustrating affair because people don't know how to behave themselves. So we find ourselves watching more movies alone, and horror can be incredibly effective if you're by yourself. And I kind of want to just talk about a few movies that oh, don't worry, Depp, it's coming. Talk about a few movies that would just be like really key to watch if you're by yourself. Also, Deppy, he's got the Depps. There you go, I gave it a little bit of flavor. Longlegs, how to watch? I don't know. I think you can rent it on Amazon Prime if it's not free, so check that out. But here's the thing, I can't always answer that because it so depends on region. I don't know where you're from. You know, I mean, this is why it's been hard for me personally to watch football games, because I don't have a TV. Like, I just have a screen, essentially. I don't have cable. And so I'm trying to stream an NFL game, but it completely depends on what state I'm in. Amazon, certain like NFL Plus or YouTube TV will have this game, but they won't have that game. It's very region based. So honestly, I don't think I'm the right person to ask. I really do think you should Google who has it, and maybe also invest in a VPN. I'm not sponsored by any VPN. I hope to be sponsored by a VPN because I think VPNs are super useful. And with a VPN, you can change your region and then be able to watch basically anything because you can have your region match that. I don't know what VPN I would recommend. I mean, there's some good ones. Nord's good. So, I don't know. But I couldn't tell you exactly where to watch Longlegs based on where you are from. But I saw them on Amazon, so that's just me. Also, is my voice sound hoarse? Or is it just my headphones? Because I couldn't wear my normal headphones? Texas, okay. Yeah, see, I don't know. But I think you can rent it on Amazon, but I don't know if it's free anywhere. I'd be surprised if it was. Maybe Amazon with like another subscription attached to it. I don't know if it's through Max. It's not on Shudder. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. Good movie, though. Not perfect. Some flaws. I won't spoil the movie, don't worry. I won't say anything about it. I would just say, like, it was a little messy, but definitely creepy and creative. You're going to Dallas in 6 days? Nice. I was in Dallas for like an hour, so it doesn't even count. But I was in Austin quite a few times. I was actually on tour. Sequestrados, a horror movie that we recommend. Kidnapped, very messed up home invasion Spanish movie. Okay, cool. I will add that to my watch list. I'm mixed on some Spanish horror movies. I feel like some of them are great. I think Wreck is awesome. But I feel like some other ones I've seen, they think scary equals people just being pricks, and I don't always find that terrifying. Like, hey, this is really, annoying. Like, that's not really scary just because, like, someone's, like, what do you call it? Like, their neighbor's being a prick. I don't find that scary. But home invasion films can be really good. Inside, French film, very scary film. Yeah, Sequestrados. I'm gonna add that to my watch list. Give me a second. Let me just go ahead and add that. When Evil Lurks, yeah, When Evil Lurks was good, but I mean, I didn't find it scary at all, but I thought it was good. My only problem with When Evil Lurks was the protagonist was such an idiot. So stupid. What a stupid person that protagonist was. It did distract me a little bit from the film. It just like brainless protagonist in that film. Could not get past it with Stratos. But otherwise, really good. Kidnapped. Okay, I'm adding it to my watch list. For those who don't know, I have a Letterboxd account. I'll post it right here, and you can see all my ratings for lots of stuff. That's my Letterboxd. Anyway, to jump on this, and we could always pivot this, and we could start talking about the best jump scares, because I still need to do that video essay on jump scares. I did not have time to release it kind of during the Halloween season. Hopefully horror videos will still be doing okay in November. Hopefully. I would personally love a 2-month Halloween period, because come on, there's nothing else going on in November. The month feels long as shit. No one cares about Thanksgiving. Everyone just wants to eat pizza instead. There's just, come on. Let's make the spooky season 2 months. It's still fall. I mean, come on. Let's just do it. But yeah, but this is the basic topic I wanted to talk about today. And these were just a few kind of possibilities I came up with for, by the way, guys, this is a costume. I do not normally dress like this. Although I did buy this hat in Texas. And I'm not wearing them, but I do have cowboy boots, also from Texas. But these are just some ideas I thought, like, maybe these might be really good picks to watch by yourself. I feel like I saw them by myself, personally. And then I saw some of them again with other people, and like the effect wasn't quite the same. Now, granted, I was watching it again, but it's just these movies, like, at least for me, like their pacing's a bit different, a bit slower. It was more atmospheric. They were stranger, and when you're with someone else, there's I mean, depending who you're watching it with, there can be like this kind of hesitation, worried that the person next to you is bored or they think it's too weird. Does I Saw the Devil count as horror? It's so interesting you say that. So I see a lot of lists online. Hey, what's up, DN? Glad you can make it. I just saw your comment. I see a lot of lists online that are clearly written by either AI or contract writers who say they often put I Saw the Devil in like the top list of horror movies. I don't think it's horror, personally. It's very violent, but I don't think that alone makes it a horror film. I don't think it has a horror vibe or atmosphere. I don't think it's ever trying to scare you. I think it's a really dark drama / thriller. I don't see this horror. I don't. It's fucked up. It's very it's disturbing, but I don't know if I would call it horror. I don't know. A lot of this you just kind of go on vibe, and it doesn't have that. To me, I don't think it's horror. It's good though. It's a little frustrating, like how much sexual assault can I watch in a film, But it's good. Oops. Joseph Eaton, best horror movie to watch as a group. Well, it's the complete opposite of what I'm talking about. But if I had to pick off the top of my head, Cabin in the Woods. Cabin in the Woods is so good with a group. It's hysterical, especially if you're with horror fans, like people who understand the tropes. And it's not like they have to be even that dedicated to horror. Like if someone's seen a fair amount of horror movies, they'll see all the jokes and the references, and yeah, it's just a riot. And just having that slow build up, and then the last third is just chaos and comedy. The Cabin in the Woods is a hoot and a holler. Maybe my hat's making me talk like this. That would be my pick. Now, if we're talking horror comedies, Grabbers from Ireland is fantastic. That's a great one, but that's a horror comedy. But I'd probably go with Cabin in the Woods. I think that one's really solid. That would be mine. Hello, Gustavo Adolfo Guardado. Love your name. I feel like you are just like a stone's throw away from owning a Los Pollos Hermanos. But anyway, how's it going? So like I was saying to some of these people earlier, I'm just trying to find some cool picks of horror movies that I watch alone. But again, we can always move the topic to something else. If there's a horror movie you haven't seen on any of my lists, definitely check it out. Or check it out. Definitely shout it out. It Comes Tonight, excellent film. You know, I'm so lucky because I saw It Comes Tonight by myself in a theater. So, I mean, there's literally no one else. It was just me in a big theater watching It Comes at Night. And would the movie have scared me the same if I was watching with people in a house? Probably not, right? Like, I feel like the environment is so key. Not to say you have to have a theater experience to enjoy the film, but like it really creeped me out. I was very paranoid and uneasy when I was watching that film. I mean, when like a guard, like a theater employee or whatever, walked in with a flashlight, it scared the shit out of me. So I had a great experience watching that film. Most people didn't because the trailers lied and they were expecting something else. Alonzo, the movie scene that messed me up recently when I first saw it would be the subway scene in Possession. So good. I actually saw that movie, I think, last year. I know, I'm so late to that one. God damn. I mean, I need to watch that movie again because there's so much going on. But that scene is definitely the highlight. I've never seen acting pushed to that point where like it's almost ridiculous, but it just goes below it. It's God. It's insane to witness. There's a manga, of course, Depp coming in with the mangas. I've read recently called Sensitive Boy, and first of all, ew. I don't know where this is going, but I'm scared. And it's one of the few scenes I've watched of sexual interaction that made me feel sick as a male. I don't know if I want to read that. I'm not gonna lie. No. Is the sequel like Daddy or something? I'm okay. You know, like I'm okay. What was I just saying? You know, Alonzo, if you liked that scene, you may want to check out the movie The First Omen. And I won't talk about The First Omen a lot in this stream because I talk about it like every time I stream because I love this movie. But The First Omen has a scene that definitely, it's not a ripoff. I think it's more kind of like a reference. It's like kind of doing something similar. It's not as long. It's not brought to that height, but it feels kind of like it's referencing Possession, that specific scene. So when I was watching The First Omen, I was not expecting something like that to happen. I was like, holy shit. Like that was pretty wild to see a Possession like scene happen like that. But yeah, I think these so far, and I got some question marks like I said, I'm not sure whether these are the perfect by yourself movies. But like I said, that's why I kind of want you guys. No, it's incredible, no in-depth detail, but it's about a guy gaining his first relationship ever. Thing is, he was assaulted by a female teacher when he was in middle school. Yikes. That's no fun. You know, it is good to hear that, that is addressed, that, you know, female teacher on male student abuse happens. No one tends to talk about that. South Park made fun of that too. It's kind of a double standard. Alexander, hello. Thanks for your horror list. Smarters impressed me very well, but not as a horror. More like a portrait of a psychologically broken person. Well, it's a thing. For me, and I know YMS said something similar. If a great horror movie to me is something that can terrify you, but if it doesn't terrify you, it still has something else to offer. Like, even if Martyrs didn't freak you out, you can still enjoy how it's shot, the pacing, the lead performances, some of the themes that are brought up, like trauma and guilt, obsession. So there's like actually a fair amount going on in the film that is that gory. I'm really glad you liked it, though. It scared me half to death, like especially the middle of the film, like basically everything in the house when the initial incident is dealt with, but then you're kind of just hanging around the house and you're watching the movie and you're going, wait, where, like, what happens now? What's going on? It's almost like the movie should end, and you're not sure, and then something else gets introduced. It's like you're in free fall. I don't know. It scared the hell out of me. Yes. Yeah, it's interesting, Gustavo, because some of the acting is like really over the top. You know, like there are scenes where they're screaming at each other, and I'm just kind of a little like it's creepy, but it's also a bit puzzling. Like why they ramped up to this kind of degree. But the thing is with possession is that it feels intentional. It really does feel like people are just being pushed to the absolute limit. That's what was my problem with Trap and more recent M. Night Shyamalan films. I talked about this in a recent video, where the bad acting in his movies does not feel intentional because there's like no consistency. You know what I mean? Like some people are doing okay, some people are talking like they're robots, this person can't act at all. There's just like no one's on the same page. I think Old was like the worst example of this, where everyone, like half the cast was monotone, and then Alex Wolff was just like screaming for 20 minutes. So, you know, if you're gonna make people act different, then you gotta make sure everyone's on the same page. And at least in Possession, it felt like they were on the same page, but it was odd. So, I know it didn't hurt the experience for me, but it was strange. Funny games. It's tough, right? Like I'm kind of borderline on whether Funny Games is horror or not. All I can say is borderline. If someone says it's horror, sure. If someone says it's not horror, sure. Like I understand both sides. There's so many movies that are borderline. I'm not like the czar of horror. You know, that's a cool title, but I can't like definitively say like what is and what isn't. So I'm very on the fence about it. The last scene, the main character of Martyrs has been burned into my skull. Yeah. Jesus, Martyrs. No, man. I mean, the ending's brutal, but honestly, it's that middle that scared the shit out of me. With the girl, the bathtub, the stairwell. Ugh. Fuck that, honestly. Any other movies that would make this list? I'm curious. Did I miss? If there's like any big ones I'm missing as far as like perfect to watch alone. I mean, you guys are talking about just creepy movies in general, which, hey, that's cool. I'm really looking for this. I want to know if I've missed anything. The Skin I Live In I find very scary. Yeah, that's actually, you know, it's really interesting to bring that up. I'm also borderline on whether that's horror, because I agree, like there's certain scenes in that movie I found very disturbing. The twist really freaked me out. I think that's one of the most upsetting twists ever. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm torn on that one too. It's a great film though. It's so good. The acting is great. It's twisted as shit. Ugh. Yeah, that movie just has like no restraint, in the good kind of way. Alonzo says, It Follows be a dope one. It Follows by yourself. I'll add it. But I'm gonna put a question mark. What do you guys? Do you guys think Ringu or The Ring is scarier? I'm curious. I'm kind of borderline. I might go The Ring, but they're very different. I feel like that's why The Ring remake I really like, because it did so much different. You know, Ringu is a bit more gritty, it's a bit more sedated, it's a bit more reserved. But then The Ring is like, it's a bit more heightened. Like the spooky atmosphere is more aggressive. You have all that color correction. Everything is green. So, I don't know. Yeah. I think the most fascinating thing ever. I mean, watch both movies if you can, but at the very least, go on YouTube and watch. I might do that right here, actually. Watch watch the haunted tapes from both movies. So watch the haunted tape from The Ring and watch haunted tape from Ringo, and like maybe try to think about which one scares you more. Because I'm very torn. Because they're both so different. The haunted tapes could not be more different. But I don't know. Depp says Sinister. I feel like Sinister is probably better for a group, especially with all the jump scares. I feel like that's like more of a jumpy, easy to follow, crowd pleaser but disturbing movie at the same time. I don't know. I don't really like. Did I watch it by myself? I'm trying to remember if I watched it with someone or saw it by myself. I can't remember. Yeah, that's two people saying Sinister. I mean, Cure. Yeah, buddy. I go back and forth on whether Cure is a horror movie, but Cure is fucking awesome. Yeah, if it counts. Pulse. Yeah, also known as Pulse. Put that here. Love that movie. Eraserhead. Eraserhead is, I'm sorry, I don't know if I can call that horror. I can't. It's trippy as shit. I don't know if I can call it horror. Climax. I feel like Climax is like destined to be a group movie because it's so like fun and crazy. It's so loud. There's great dancing. I mean, I saw Climax by myself, and I loved it. I actually saw it in theaters. But I don't know. I don't think it's the best way to watch it alone. I feel like watching with a group might be pretty fun. As extreme as the movie is, I mean, it definitely is an extreme film. It's not. It's fun in parts, but it's not. It's not like. It's not low key in any way. I don't know if I find the Antichrist scary at all. I don't know if I would even call it horror. Definitely horror elements for sure. I mean, I thought it was really good. You know, definitely. I don't know if I call it horror. I mean, yeah, she does give him the worst hand job in the history of hand jobs. That's very true. But I'll add it. Ooh, The Lighthouse is a good pick. That's a very good pick. I feel like The Lighthouse is probably not good with a group. There's so much elevated dialogue. Half your group's gonna be bored. Oh, this is taking too long. There you go. Wailing, maybe. I don't know, but like I said, like the main thing is I'm trying to decide if this is like the optimal, like the absolute best horror movies to watch by yourself. I don't know if The Wailing would qualify. I don't know if it's like the best way to watch the movie is alone. I feel like it totally works with other people. It's long, probably too long, but I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm torn on that one too. The woman dancing. Oh yeah, where she goes like. That scene is scary as hell, man. That scene is so scary. Was she dancing or did she just trip? That's the real question, right? Well, we got some good ones here. I think Lighthouse is a really good choice. I don't know if any of you guys seen In Fabric. It's probably the strangest movie here on this list. It's bizarre. Depp, I think you saw it. It's so weird, but its weirdness scared me, and that usually doesn't work on me. If something's weird, I love it, but it doesn't like freak me out. In Fabric was so strange and surreal, it really messed with me. And I do feel like it's great, it's like perfect alone. This one, Lake Mungo, I think is like top of this list as far as watching it, and not even like watching it alone on like a big screen. Like for me, I watch it on a laptop and scare the shit out of me because it's so sneaky. And I feel like if you want a sneaky scare, it's probably best to watch it by yourself. Because yeah, it just like envelops you. You think it's one thing, and then just like so gradually it starts to build. So I mean, if this turns into a top 5 or a top 10, Lake Mungo's definitely gonna get on the list. Wrong Turn definitely creeped me. I would probably consider Wrong Turn a horror film. They take a wrong turn, and they get attacked by a bunch of like mutants. I think that's definitely horror. The previous film of the same author, Barbarian Sound Studio. Still need to watch that. I think I started watching it and I stopped for some reason. I don't know why. I wasn't bored. I just stopped watching it, and I should watch it again because I found sound mixing interesting. I'm not an expert in sound mixing by any stretch, but I do find it fascinating just how much it puts on its back. Like, movies would just be so terrible if the sound mixing wasn't good. It's something no one really gets credit for, especially the horror. Oh, Gustavo, so glad someone else saw it in Fabric too. That's great. I really loved it. It is not for everyone, but I thought it was so strange and gorgeous. I thought the music was perfect. For those who don't know, In Fabric is like, how would you describe it? It's like 70s nostalgia mixed with commentary on shopping malls mixed with a haunted dress. It's wild. Every character is talking to you. Well, every character talks to another character like they're trying to seduce them. It's so unnerving and weird. Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me. David Lynch doesn't make horror movies, but his scary scenes give me nightmares. You know, I liked that movie a lot, and I think the scariest thing about that movie was just the reveal of, the father. And just your mind starts reeling, thinking about, wait, how long has this been going on? How has this resulted in some of her behavior? It's, pretty demented. Oh, Alexander. So, anyone who's familiar with my channel knows that I am in love with Ganjam Haunted Asylum. I absolutely love that film. I think it's one of my favorite horror movies ever. It just gets better and better the more I think about it. I liked it more the second time I watched it. I think the slow build-up threw me at first, but now I think it has so much more purpose. So, yeah, I mean, however, I think Ganjam Haunted Asylum might even be better to watch with other people. Maybe not a huge group, but like if you watch that with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, I think that's a great movie to watch with them. They'll be scared shitless. I don't know if that's like you gotta watch that alone. I don't think it's one of those, but it's certainly terrifying. I think it's one of the scariest films I've seen. Definitely not It. I think It is perfect with a group. Indonesian horror, some I watch were really good, like Satan's Slaves and Pedagore. I couldn't finish Satan's Slaves. I thought it was a little dull, to be perfectly honest. But I did watch, and I think it was Indonesian. I saw the remake. It's technically a remake called Queen of Black Magic, and that I found very scary. Depp in chat actually recommended that movie to me. Hush would be a good pick, because it's like Alone in the House kind of thing. The thing with Hush, and probably my only problem with Hush, is that the main character of Hush is deaf, and they worked so well with sound mixing and atmosphere at the beginning, but I feel like in the second half of the film they kind of forgot it. I'm not. I felt like they didn't really take advantage of that concept. Well, the movie Don't Breathe, I think, took a lot of advantage of the fact that they had to be quiet, that he was blind. They never really like neglected that. Creep. Okay, so I'm probably gonna get at least maybe 2 people to stop watching this immediately. I really don't like Creep. I don't. I know why people like it. I'm happy people like it. Please don't let me take your enjoyment away from it. I hate it. First of all, it has the worst jump scare maybe in film history. So that's 1 strike against it. And 2, I just don't find awkwardness scary. To me, I find that really lazy to just have a person being awkward. It's like that's just like The Office. I don't find that really particularly skillful to accomplish with a film, especially found footage. Saying that, I do think that actor was good, and I know why people like it. It feels realistic, sure. So do lots of things. I just can't get behind that film. I really can't. Sorry. I just don't. I really don't like it. 3 Extremes. Yes. I have not seen 3 Extremes. Seems like a lot of torture porn, which it's not one of my favorite genres. But I should watch it. Because, hey, Audition you could call torture porn, at least in the last 15 minutes, but that's still a really good film. I should watch it. The dumplings thing sounds like it's going to make me throw up. Jane Doe could work well alone. I think so. It's too bad the 3rd act wasn't as good. They couldn't quite stick the landing. Did I miss anything? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, Suspiria remake. Is that best to watch alone? I don't know. I saw that with my girlfriend. Yeah. She's that cool that she can watch Suspiria 2018, even with that ending. I would have to think about that. And again, like I'm looking for like the top of the top, like the best of the best to watch alone. I don't know if Suspiria 2018 would be my pick, but it's certainly a great film. And I know I mentioned this in the video, but I'm so pissed off that Suspiria 2018 wasn't nominated for anything. And it was just, you know when they say like the exception proves the rule? Get Out being nominated for so much kind of proved that the Oscars just hate horror films, because it's like there's so many great horror performances, cinematography, editing, music, like so much, and they're always neglected. And then one comes out that has some kind of racial component, and they toss it Oscars. Now, I'm not saying that wasn't deserved. Get Out was very good. I think Daniel Kaluuya was amazing, but it was just frustrating because it's like, okay, like cool, you know, you recognize talent. But could you recognize the other talent too? Like, Toni Collette not being nominated for Best Actress is like one of the biggest snubs ever. Everyone was talking about her. She was phenomenal. I don't know, I don't understand nominating Lady Gaga instead of her. That does not make sense to me. I mean, if they would just switch off their biases for a moment and just, instead of just nominating another biopic that we've seen 1,000 times, just look at some horror films, you know? I don't know. Jane Doe's without the last act, yeah. Maybe repeat a good Omeletto indie horror recommendation. Oh, like you're asking for one? Oh, I got lots to recommend. Ooh, Deb, I have seen Tesis. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. It's a Spanish film about like red rooms, about torture. But they don't really show much of the torture. Tesis is really good. It's a flawed movie. It's kind of cheap looking. Like, it has issues, but I really have a soft spot for it because there's so much good going on. Like there's really interesting character dynamics. Um, it's very brave with some of its content. It has a great pacing. It's super low budget. They shot in like an actual like film, what do you call it? Like a filmmaking academy. I like Testes a lot. I stopped caring about the Oscars when Green Book. Yeah, oh my god! Instead of The Favorite, what the fuck? But I'm gonna address. Where are you? Songcat? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Everyone. Well, actually, I'll just do it. Indie horror recommendations. Let me throw some at you right now. Like, how indie are we talking? So, here are some that are either very low budget or pretty unknown. Some of these are on YouTube. Some of these are short, some of these are longer. I got May, Milk and Cereal, Backrooms, Don't Peek. I'm blanking a little bit here. Indie horror films. Ooh. Let me think. Well, that's a few for now. Those are some good movies. Portrait of God. Yeah, Portrait of God's good. Did I see Hunger? I can't remember. Oh, do you mean the Hunger one from like the 70s? He's not gonna know that one. The Mist, the black and white version. Oh my, Alonzo, why you gotta make me feel bad? I have not seen, I cannot find that version anywhere other than like I have to buy the Blu-ray of the film, which I don't really know if I want to do. But apparently the black and white version of The Mist is awesome. Like it's supposed to be way better than the original, just because like the special effects look better, the tone fits better. I'm not gonna lie, I saw the first 20 minutes of the film and that woman is so fucking annoying. I know she's supposed to be, but it really just kind of like hurt the experience, because it's like you wish another character would just tell her to shut up, which is what would happen in real life. Someone at some point would be like, shut your mouth, or we're throwing you to the grasshoppers outside. But yeah, seriously, Green Book winning, oh boy. Green Book winning was a thing. Coda winning was a thing. Nomadland winning was just like insane. Yeah, Gustavo, I saw Butterfly Kiss. I have pretty mixed feelings on it. I think it does a good job showing the kind of obsessiveness and even dickishness of the main character, but I didn't find it scary. I thought the idea, the lore was creepy, but the main character is just such a jerkwad, and I think we're supposed to think he's a dick. But then it made me kind of wonder why I'm even following this story, you know? He's like my one point of contact, really, and I don't like him at all. So it was a little frustrating to kind of get involved in the story if it's through the lens of someone who isn't particularly interesting, not a good person, and I'm not even rooting for. So it was a little frustrating, but like I said, I do like the lore of that movie a lot. Unless I'm completely thinking of a different film, because I've seen a lot of film footage. Stevie, I'll put Rec. I think Rec would be just as good to watch with a group, just because it's so kind of wild. But I'll throw it here just because it is very scary. Clay, you should add the Thai film Alone to the list. That movie's very scary, but I wouldn't consider it like a top. You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking for like the best things to watch alone. Like, you gotta watch this one alone, kind of thing. Raw. I you know what? Before I put anything like Raw, I have to watch it again, because I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like it. But I feel like I should try it again. The same director made Titan, which is awesome. Love that film. But Raw really bothered me because I don't feel like the character transition made sense. It was way too fast. Like, we have a character who goes from this kind of quiet vegetarian to, like, kind of like this animalistic psycho in, like, 10 minutes. And I don't feel like that was earned at all. But it's a nice looking film, and there's great makeup, such good makeup. Angst. Did I see Angst? I did see Angst. I was a little mixed on Angst as well. Angst was another one where it was like, it was effectively cruel, but it was one of those things where I was watching and thinking, why am I watching this? Like, it's like I'm just watching a serial killer just be mean to people, and I didn't feel like I was learning anything from it, or that it was shot really well, or anything like that. It was just like, it was just crude to be crude. Felt a little edgy, which, to be fair, it came out in the 80s, so it was very edgy for the time. It's even a little hard to watch now. But I don't know if I would even recommend people watch it. I don't know if I can. Noroi? Sure. I do think that movie's too long. Give me a second. I do. I think Noroi is too long. It's too long. There's so much that could be cut from that film. But there is some cool stuff. I think the best scene in the film is unfortunately pretty early on, and that's when you probably remember, when they're like doing some kind of test to see which of these students have supernatural abilities, and that whole sequence was really cool. I liked all of that. It felt very genuine. All like the graphics on the screen and how slowly it kind of played out. That seems awesome. Since we're talking about frustrating movies, Funny Games is a really frustrating to watch. Although I think that was the intent. Yeah, and honestly, I have pretty mixed feelings about that. I know, like, I get some pretty angry comments on my videos sometimes from people who go like, well, you're just too hard to please, or you know, you must be awful to watch movies with. And I'm like, look, all I can like to do is be honest. I can sit here and just lie and just shell out the same compliments you hear from everyone about the same movies that everyone likes, but I'm not gonna do that. And I do at least try to acknowledge the good aspects of some films, but and I'll admit when certain styles don't quite work for me. And so for me, I would never call something like Funny Games a bad film, ever. It's actually a really good film, but it's just a little hard for me to watch because I'm watching it and I'm thinking, God, this is so good, this is so well acted, like, this is a good film, but it's just horrible. Like, I'm watching people suffer for no reason, and it's not moving fast enough to where it feels like a roller coaster. It's not scary to get that kind of emotion out of me. The only emotion it's bringing out of me is like anger. And I don't really like to feel angry when I watch content. I know there's rage bait all over the internet, especially on TikTok, Jesus. But it's not like my preferred emotion. So, I don't know. It's a thing where like, but I would never say like a movie like that is bad necessarily. It's just not it's not always for me. I didn't like it, but Possessor. Yeah, Possessor's not perfect. I think there's some pacing issues, especially in the third act. It does like the Maxine thing where it just has too many balls in the air. But I think the intro was great. I think the special effects are awesome. I love the concept. I wish they did more with that main concept. And I think the acting's really strong. There's Christopher Abbott, I think his name is. He has to act like a woman who's in his body for the first time. And I think he does a really good job being kind of like unsure and still kind of getting the rein of how his movements work. It's really cool. It's just, I think there's some pacing issues. But I do like it. I don't know if it's like, you gotta watch this one alone. But I think it's cool. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween to you too. Yeah, I'm just this is what I wore for a little shindig I went to last weekend. Very fun. Well, very fun until someone decided to be an idiot, but other than that. The top comment on your scary list this year just reeked of closed-minded behavior. Ooh, which one was that? Let me look real quick. I mean, I do try not to be offended or hurt by angry comments on my channel. I mean, sometimes people, most of the comments that are negative on my channel are not just trolls. They're usually like, I like this movie, you don't, what the hell? And like, I understand those comments, I really do. You know, people have an emotional attachment to films. So if they really loved a film and then they see some guy they've never heard of go like, well, this film sucked, you know, it's gonna sting a little bit. So I get that aspect, but I think the comments that probably bother me, that bother me the most are the ones that are just, they really kind of are trolling, or they just didn't pay attention to the video. Like they'll put words in my mouth. I think those bother me the most. Host. Yeah, I wish I liked Host, but I kind of didn't. I think it's probably better than, what was it, Unfriended? As like a laptop movie, I think it was kind of cool. I don't know. I mean, what do you want me to say? Like, the characters are idiots and they're not very good actors, but I could see how it would be effective on your laptop, because literally the whole movie is like on people's laptops. So I could see that. I don't know if I can put this on this list, because I don't know if I can say it's a good film. But it would work. If it could work, it would work on your laptop. So I agree with you on that. I'll add it. I'll add it to be nice. David Lynch's Rabbits. It's weird and uncanny. 42 minutes of nightmare fuel. Oh dear. Starting to run out of room. Deb, you're gonna have to alert me to which comment. I'm not sure what comment you're talking about, Deb. The top comment is some guy talking about Oddity, and then there's another comment saying thank you, and then there's your comments actually. It starts with terrible choices, bro. Someone wrote that? Oh, funny. Yeah, I mean, you're always gonna get one of those. I just don't see that comment. I didn't delete it. I usually don't delete comments on my video unless they're like super toxic. Like, and not even toxic towards me, but like toxic to other people watching. But I generally do not delete comments on my channel. Antichrist was such an experience, all-time favorite. Yeah, that is an experience. That is a really, it's probably the most accurate, as vague as it sounds. It's the most accurate way to describe that movie. The Strangers, God, I really do feel like I'm hurting not without singing the blues, because every time they bring a movie to me, it's like you're picking specific movies that I have problems with. I think The Strangers would probably work better as a group, because it moves fast. There are lots of jump scares, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of jump scares. So I think that would work better. I understand your logic though, because it takes place in a house alone. Like, isolation's a big thing. But I feel like it would be better as a group. I'm not sure if you classify this torture porn, but horrifying and sad. Would you rather? Ooh, wait, are we talking about the same film? Where this rich guy invites all these people who need money, and he makes them make these terrible choices. I don't know if I found it horrifying and sad. I found it like really fun and entertaining. Maybe I'm sick, but the movie was like intentionally goofy, in my opinion. Like the guy who was playing the rich guy was was very much overacting, but on purpose. Like it was like he was chewing the scenery like crazy. So yeah, I don't know if it was really trying to be horrifying, except for a few moments that were a little tough. Like there's a scene where a girl is drowned, and that was a little hard to watch because it really did feel like you're watching someone drown in real time. But this is a very entertaining film. I don't think you need to watch it alone, though. I think that's a perfect movie to watch with a group, as long as, you know, they're cool with that kind of content. But, you know, I kind of wish I talked about it in my underrated horror video. A video that did quite well, actually. I'm very happy about that. But I wish I talked about it because it looks like such like a B movie kind of thing that no one has seen. I don't think it's scary, but it's actually a lot of fun, and it makes you think about which kind of option you would pick. How far would you go? So it's a lot of fun. Saint Maud, I think Saint Maud's a good pick to watch alone. Very atmospheric, very strange. Repulsion, okay. Is that horror? Is it though? I don't know if that's horror. House of the Devil is a competent, independent horror film. You know, I think that's the best way to put it. It is a competent, independent horror film. It's not great, but it's very competent. Definitely has style. Inside, yeah. Inside's rough. Do you have to watch it alone though? Yeah. I think a lot of home invasion films, I go back and forth. Are home invasion films better to watch alone? Because they're really fast usually, and there's a lot going on. So I feel like that might be better to watch as a group. But it's about someone stuck in a house, so you'd think that'd be better to watch by yourself. I don't know. Would you rather when I was 14? Ew, yikes. I didn't like it, but Incantation. I really liked Incantation actually. Again, I don't know if you need to see that by yourself. For example, I saw it with a girl, and it was perfect because, like, I found it really interesting and creepy. She found it really interesting and also wanted to, like, steal the young Asian baby. So it was, you know, it had something for everyone. I think because Incantation's also kind of a drama, I feel like that would be a good movie to watch, like, as a couple. Green Room is perfect with a group. You crazy, Alonzo. You crazy. That is like, that movie is just like, that is a perfect group movie. It's fast. It's fucking violent. You have great characters, loud music, Nazis. I mean, that's not to say it's not disturbing. That I mean, R.I.P. To Anton Yelkin, but there's a scene where he's getting his arm cut. And that's like one of the hardest scenes I think I've ever watched in my life. And it's just acting. It's all off screen. So, but I think that's a great group film. Big time. Also, Deb, I know. It's brutal. Alonzo, I would say Neon Demon's kind of horror. Especially towards the end. A little borderline. Is not trying to scare you, but I would say it's horror. I don't think you need to see Candyman alone, but probably be pretty good alone. Yeah, obviously original. Not that the remake was bad, but the remake just felt kind of pointless. Yeah. You know what's funny? I loved Climax, but I also kind of had a headache when it was over. Someone wrote something, but oh yeah. One thing about Green Room, anyone who's interested, I used to be in a few bands, both in Maryland and in California, and that was probably the most accurate depiction I've seen of when you're a band and you're walking to a new venue, and the guy who kind of owns the place is, you know, talking to you, tells you where everything is. He's always super gruff. Not friendly, not mean, but not friendly, and just very brusque. And here's this, stage is over there, get your stuff set up, and then he just like walks away. Like that whole process of getting the band set up, and like the sound, like all the like the muffled bass you hear through the walls, and even what the green room looked like, I felt all of that was just spot on to my experience being in different bands. So like they clearly did their research. The Night House. Ooh. Okay. You know what? We're kind of running out of room here, so hold on. How can I do this? Hold on. We're gonna make room. Ah. Ah. There we go. Better. Okay. Hold on. Moving stuff around. I did have like a spreadsheet, but I just think this looks nicer. I don't know. Get some color. We're definitely at our wit's end. Oh, funny that. The gut. Oh yeah, Jesus Christ. I mean, honestly, my favorite part of Climax was just like the dance sequences. The bird's eye view, that could have gone on for half an hour. I was like hypnotized. The Night House. You know what though? Who wrote Night House? Not Without Singing the Blues. Were you bothered by the jump scares? Because I was. I know I'm making it sound like I hate jump scares. I really don't. But in the Night House, they just felt like, why are you here? Like, who invited you, Mr. Jump Scare? Like, we didn't. This movie did not need jump scares. Other movies work with jump scares, but why did Night House invite jump scares to the party? He made a mess. He made a total mess of that party. He was too loud. He always showed up at the wrong times. I don't know why Mr. Jump Scare came to the Night House. And it was a little frustrating. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I don't know if I can write The Descent, because I do think it is definitely better with people. Funny story, I was watching The Descent with someone, and there's a good jump scare, very good jump scare in The Descent, that was so effective that the person I was watching with accidentally jumped and they hit me in the face. So, yeah, true love and all that. Alexander, you know, it's funny, I do think there are parts of Silent Hill that are, if not scary, then definitely unnerving. I know that's like such a cop-out answer, but there are sequences in Silent Hill that I do think are kind of intense and creeped me out. I kind of wanted to do a video. I kind of want to do a video about the Silent Hill movie because I do think it has issues. I don't know why Pyramid Head is in it. It does make sense. Some critic said that Pyramid Head is like some frat guy who fell into a sundial. But so it has problems, but I think the biggest problem with Silent Hill movie is that, and this is a true story, when they first wrote the script for it and they sent it to the production company, the studio was like, where are all the guys? Like, there were no men in the script at all. And they said, you gotta put guys back in this script. It's weird that there's only women in this film. And so they had to go back and add scenes of the husbands and the cop wandering through the town looking for his wife. And those scenes are so boring and bland and uninteresting and unnecessary. And you're like, why is this scene in the film? And then you look it up and you're like, oh, right, because it was literally added afterwards because the studio was annoyed that there were only women in the movie. It's just bizarre to me. If you cut those scenes out, you have a much better film. I don't think any movie Rebecca Hall needs jump scares. Let that woman do her thing. Yeah, I agree, and I would probably also give it, I would give it a 3.5 out of 5. Her performance is amazing. I think the house concept is super cool, but those jump scares just so unneeded. As Above, So Below sort of feels like a movie to watch alone. I enjoyed it a lot more in the second watch. I liked it a lot too. I know some people just hate found footage, but if you found footage is your thing, if you really like found footage, As Above, So Below is like found footage mixed with like Lara Croft or Indiana Jones, and I didn't find it scary, but like it's very fun, very creative. I don't know if I would put this on this list, but definitely a shout out. That's a really cool film. Depp, right? I can't take credit for that. I didn't come up with that, but it's funny. It seems like a joke, but I want to shit my pants with House on Haunted Hill and its sequel. Really? I didn't think its sequel was scary, but I really like the sequel. Or do you mean the remake? I think you mean, yeah, the remake, the one from like the 90s, I think, maybe early 2000s. Really fun movie. I thought the House on Haunted Hill remake was gonna be terrible, but they really put in a lot of work with like some of the CGI and the practical effects. It was a lot of fun, especially toward the end. Like there's a hallway sequence that's awesome, like way too awesome, like for that kind of film. I would definitely recommend it. I have not seen the original. The Grandmother by David Lynch, just the title alone terrifies me. Bump in the night films where you feel isolated. Yeah, I think that's what it is, really. It's like, when I'm talking about movies to watch alone, I'm looking for things like atmosphere, isolation. It's something that you really don't want any distractions. And generally speaking, it's not going to be a movie that's like super fast and fun and jumpy and like, yeah, because that is perfect for a group. But for a movie where you're not worried about other people in the room being bored, you're not gonna be distracted by other people, you're like zeroed in, just like focused and absorbed. And that's why slower films generally kind of fill this list. Like something like The Lighthouse or Saint Maud, In Fabric. Plus the visuals for that time was insane. Which movie are you referring to, Stevie? I would love to know. Skinamarink is great to watch alone if you want to take a nap. Getty Squire, you may be so happy right now because the first half I thought I was going to disagree with you, and in the second half you flipped it right back 180 to my heart. I really don't like Skinamarink, but I understand it's very divisive. Some people, it really sunk its claws into people. I'm so happy it did. I'm genuinely happy that that movie worked on people. I found it boring as hell. I mean, you got to give me something. You can't just give me mood. If I want mood, I'll watch a screensaver with creepy music. Like, I need something else. And I'm sure the movie's been overanalyzed to death. I'm sure there's things I'm missing, but it's hard for me to try to discover this world or this story if I'm just staring at old cartoons and really irritating, like, flashing TV screens, and just blackness. That's not... Yeah. I know there's a half-hour version of there somewhere. Maybe I'll like it better. Down the Flanagan route again, as per usual, but Hush or Gerald's Game. I still need to watch Gerald's Game. Was Hush by Flanagan? Are you sure? Hold on, I'm gonna look that up. Here's a fun question. Oh, you're right. It was by Mike Flanagan. Wow, I did not know that. Huh. Well, look at that. Mike Flanagan did a lot. I think Hush might be my favorite thing by him. Although, fun fact, because of all the recommendations, and this is why when you guys comment on my videos, I do read them. A lot of people recommended I watch Abigail, and people recommended I watch The Haunting of Hill House. And because of all those comments, I did do that. I watched Abigail. It was fun. I'll just say that. Inconsistent. One actor did a very good job. One actress was terrible in Abigail. But it was fun. And then I just started watching Haunted of Hill House. I just finished the first episode. So I'm going to keep watching that. No spoilers, please. Getty Squire, your comment is my favorite of the day. Late Night with the Devil could be a shout, to be fair. Perhaps Midsummer. Ooh, okay, so, yeah, there's the thing. I don't think Late Night with the Devil you need to watch by yourself, but I do think Midsummer is better alone. I think that's a movie that, like, you can kind of fall into, because it's so trippy, it's kind of long, it's surreal, it's very demented in terms of, like, its, like, psychology. So I think it's good for that. Is there a list of best horror movies without essay or body horror? Hale, I think most horror movies would avoid both of those. I mean, looking on my list right here, I mean, honestly, you take out Inside, there's not, do any of these have sexual assaults or body horror? You could argue It Follows has sexual assault, so we'll take that out. And maybe this? Right? I mean, like, pretty much all of these would fit that qualification, so I don't think you need to search too hard. But I do understand that it might be hard to find a horror movie on Google and like filter by this and then filter by that. It's a little tough. But most horror movies won't have those two things. So percentage is on your side. I'm going to take Inside Out, actually. I don't think that's best to watch alone. Rosemary's Baby. I actually watched it with a group and enjoyed it, but everyone else thought it was way too slow, so maybe I should have watched it alone. Yeah, I'm actually with you there. I'm actually going to write Rosemary's Baby here. Oh my god, do not watch Apartment 7A. It's a prequel and a ripoff at the same time. Don't do it. Yeah, I would say this. I think Rosemary's Baby could work with a group, but they have to be, like, pretty like-minded individuals. Like, they have to be fine with an older, slower film. Movies from the 60s are slow. Like, that's just their nature. So, if they think it's too slow, it's like... Oops, burping. Yeah. Nosferatu, oldie but a goodie. I can't... I don't know. Like, the silent film? Sure. I don't know if I can really recommend people watch a silent film. You know? Like, are people actually going to enjoy it? You know what I'm gonna say. What? The tech horror one you're talking about? We're talking movies, bro. I guess caveat, if we don't analyze the plot too much, it's a solid movie. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Caveat makes no fucking sense. But, it certainly has good atmosphere. Joseph Eden, I was thinking Midsummer earlier. If you don't connect to the main character, I imagine it would suck. I don't know if connect with her if you'd connect with her if around that. Yeah. Yeah, I saw Midsummer alone and then I watched it again with someone. I found it very scary, but I understand why other people didn't. It's definitely slow. It could probably be cut down a bit, especially in the third act, I think drags. But if you are going to watch it, I think it's better to watch it alone because, like I said, it's so, I don't know, like hypnotic in a way, like the music, the beautiful lighting. I feel like it's more catered to a solitary experience. Jason X. Whoops. If you're gonna watch a Jason movie, you gotta watch that with a group. There's no reason to watch a Jason movie by itself. Those movies are so dumb and so ridiculous. Like, you gotta watch that with other people, preferably with like a lot of alcohol. Especially Jason X. Although honestly, I don't even think Jason X is the worst one. I think the worst one's like maybe number 9 or number 6. They're just so boring. The Omen, I guess, not well executed, but iconic. It fits the criteria. I don't know if I'd put that. I don't know if you have to watch The Omen alone. Maybe. I don't know. I'm also like trying to put really good films here, and I do like the original Omen. I did have some problems with it. In fact, I don't know if you had the same feeling. But I was watching it with someone, and we're enjoying it. I think the birthday scene was probably the highlight. And we're watching The Omen, and there's a scene toward the end where the main character is being overpowered by the demon lady, like the woman who shows up and becomes like a maid or a babysitter. And she was next to me and she was just going like, oh my god, come on, you can't kick her ass. Like she's like a pencil, and Gregory Peck is this bulking, huge, like 6'3" guy, and he can't overpower this like tiny little woman with like a little knife. It was absurd, and the kind of tricks they tried to play with the camera and the editing to make it look like she could overpower him, it was like a Charlie's Angels reboot. Like you watch it and you're going, you're not gonna trick me, like this doesn't make sense. It was, yeah. But overall, I do think The Omen is good. Yep. Yep. That was like the worst part. Turn the music down to smig. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Robert Eggers' The Witch definitely has eyesight. Yep. Someone mentioned that earlier and I forgot to write it. Anyone? I'm sorry, I can't in good conscience put a movie that I don't think is that good. So, host, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to go. And I don't know if I can recommend a silent film. I don't know. Like, who's actually gonna watch that? We gotta if we're gonna narrow this down to 10, we gotta start killing. We gotta start dropping some people. So you gotta have to drop you. We're gonna have to drop bunnies. The Strange... Alex, you're the second person to say The Strangers. Yeah, I don't know if The Strangers would be perfect alone. I'll write it. I really don't think Strangers is very good. It's just nothing but jump scares for an hour and a half. I'll put it for now. And, you know, I don't like being critical of movies people like. I feel bad sometimes, like especially my recent video. Most of my comments were negative because honestly, I mean, I watched a lot of horror this year and I don't think this was that great of a year for horror movies. I don't. Some years are stronger than others. This year it was just kind of meh. I like how creative movies were this year. A lot of different ideas. I just don't think a lot of the ideas worked, I guess. The Ring, yeah, here. I have The Ring here, Alex. Boop. Babadook, recommendation to watch alone or with an imaginary friend. Okay. I don't think you need to see the Babadook alone. I think that works with any size, really. I got to start chopping. Come on, guys, let's bring this down to 10. Unless someone has a really good recommendation I haven't caught. I will say this though, Lake Mungo, 100% gonna be on the list. Like, this is not gonna get eliminated. And I would say probably Under the Skin also, pretty much like stamped. You see, Neil, it's funny you mention that because I found the main character frustrating, but in a bad way. It took me out of like the situation because he was just stupid. Like I couldn't like fall into the drama because the whole time I was just thinking, God, you were just a dipshit. And I know, and not in like a fascinating Coen Brothers tragic sort of way. More just like, can someone just kill this guy already? Because he's just messing everything up. That's just how I felt. Good movie otherwise. Alien. I watched it with my girlfriend. She liked it, but she thought it was kind of slow. I could see Alien working to watch alone, but again, like I don't think it's like essential to watch it alone. I don't think, you know, I guess like I don't think that is like the absolute best way to watch it. That's kind of like what I'm looking for today. I know it sounds a little maybe too specific. We can always move on to a different topic if this is too vague or just not fun. I do love Alien though. Alex, Coraline is okay. Coraline's a horror film, but it's a horror film for kids. It's fucking great though. It's still my favorite stop motion film. But I definitely don't think you gotta watch Coraline by yourself. I think you should watch Coraline, Getty Squire. Yes, it is. I think Coraline would be great to watch with someone, like especially someone who loves weird animation or arts and crafts or anything like that. But I also think it'd be a good movie to watch with your kids. You know, if they get too scared, you could, you know, kind of grab them. And I think they would love the colors, kind of the world that's been built here, just like the amount of like the sets and all like the kind of 3D sequences. Don't Move. I have not seen that yet. It's not getting very good reviews. In fact, what's really interesting about Don't Move, and he's talking about a movie that's on Netflix right now, is that it's doing all right on Rotten Tomatoes, but if you go to IMDb, the 1-star reviews are just like through the roof, and I don't know why. Now, that does not mean the movie's bad, because what you'll notice if you go to IMDb is a lot of times people will spam it with 1-star reviews because of something political, or they just really don't like the actor that they're trying to cancel, stuff like that. So it can feel very personal. And when I see this many 1-star reviews, that doesn't necessarily mean the movie's bad. It just, it could mean something else, you know? I did not see it though. Alex, did you see it? It's a political thing. Okay. Without telling me without any spoilers, could you tell me if the movie's good? Like, is it good? Also, Hale, I missed your comment. 70s Willard. I didn't even know that was a remake. Paranormal Activity is definitely a classic, but I'm not sure you think it's good. I don't. I don't. I do think one sequence is... I think the ending is scary. I really do. I'm not even being facetious. I think the ending is very scary. I love the fact it's out of the room and then it comes back into the room. I think that was good staging. I just think they're bad actors. I never bought the fact that this was true found footage. I just felt like I was watching community theater or like a really amateur kind of like home video. For me, found footage works best when you can at least somewhat buy into the fact that it's real, because you know it's not real. Like, I feel like at this point we should all know that none of this shit's real. But if your acting's good enough, if your plot's plausible enough, it can make me forget that. Incantation helped me forget that. Lake Mungo, which isn't found footage, it's a fake documentary, but that made me forget it, because the actors were so good and all their dialogue was so natural. And the way it paced itself, it felt like a documentary. Paranormal Activity, it just felt like a bunch of just bad actors, kind of like in a house, hanging around, kind of not sure what to do, so that didn't quite work for me. Also, ooh, did someone just subscribe? Hello, KJ, how's it going? Blair Witch Project, the good one. Here, the only problem with me is I watched Blair Witch Project way too late. I saw that movie maybe like 5 years ago. I didn't see it in its heyday, so. But I remember hearing about it because I grew up in the, you know, when I grew up, I was very young, but I'm a 90s kid. And I remember everyone was talking about that film, and people genuinely thought it was real because the internet wasn't even like a thing yet. Not really. And so it was a perfect time and place for that. I mentioned this earlier, but just to throw it out there again for a finalist list, Possession. Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna watch Possession, you probably do want to watch it alone just because it's so out there. Yeah. Is it horror? No, it is horror. It is horror. It's too weird and too gory to not be horror. Incantation works 10,000 times % more in a group. Has you Googling shit. I didn't watch it as in a group. I watched it by myself and then I watched it with someone, and I liked it both times. I wouldn't put it on this list, but I really did like Incantation. It was one of those rare times when something was trending on TikTok and the movie was actually good, which is pretty rare. It's kind of like the opposite of Bird Box, so that was a nice surprise, really. Alex said I was half watching and it was all right. Wow. High praise. Jesus. Hold on one second. Sorry. Sorry. There's a stop-motion drama film, House of the Wolf. Yep. I didn't finish it, but I have seen parts of it. It's so slow to me, but it is gorgeous to look at. It's one of those things where I can't... It was hard for me to be invested in what little narrative there was, but I can't deny just how good the animation looked. I mean, very creepy and beautifully rendered. It doesn't count, but I have to mention my favorite movie, The Thing. I do count The Thing as a horror film. It's body horror. It's paranoia horror. I mean, it's definitely a horror film. However, I think that movie's awesome to watch with other people. I think it's great. I watched it with my brother, and it was like one of my favorite movie watching experiences because he had no idea what the movie was about, and he does not like horror films. And it was great because I put the movie on, and it's there's a scene at the beginning with a gun, but other than that, like, the movie's pretty slow to start. And it's starting, and it's like, my brother's sitting there, and he's like, all right, not really sure what's going on, kind of boring. These dudes are in the snow, nice beard, Kurt Russell. He wasn't that enthused by it. And then the first scene happens with the dogs, and his eyes got so big, and he was just like just horrified, and he just had that face for the rest of the film, and it was glorious. I don't think he was very happy with me, but it was such a great experience. I can't lie. Getty Squire, I mean, okay, I figured as much. The Wailing, love the atmosphere and the drama. Yeah, I don't know if I would put it here. It's so great, and I guess it's probably better to watch alone, but I don't know if I would put it on this list particularly. Alright, we gotta... Okay, guys, unless anyone has any other suggestions, we're gonna start chopping stuff. We're gonna have to chop, and then I'm gonna call it. Because I can't stream for too long, unfortunately. What can we kill here? I need 10. Like 10 tops. I don't like going above 10. Unless I do another yearly thing. Oh god, no, Clay. By the way, and I need an idea, and I'll add a heading here. Oops. This, I actually need help with this. Like, a lot. I don't know if anyone has noticed, but thank you, Gustavo. Lake Mungo top 5. Fuck yes. So I don't know if anyone has seen, but I have horror videos on my channel where I talk about a certain horror movie every year for 2000 to 2024. So far I have the best horror movies each year, most underrated horror movie each year, and the best horror performance each year. So I got 3 so far. I really like doing those videos, and they actually tend to perform well on my channel. So, but I feel like I'm running out of topics. It doesn't necessarily have to be horror, but those tend to do better on my channel. So if you guys, it doesn't have to be right now, you can throw it out in one of my videos. You can message me on Discord. My link's up there. But if you have a really cool idea of like, man, I wish I could see the best or scariest or underrated or whatever per year for this topic, that'd be really cool. Please let me know, because I really do like doing those videos. I mean, they are a bit exhausting. There's a lot of content I have to grab, but I think they tend to do well on my channel. I want my channel to succeed, so I'm always looking for a topic like that. So if you got one, like, definitely throw it down in chat. Getty Squire, thank you for throwing the first one. Best non-American horror films. That's a possibility. To tie into our discussion today a bit, most atmospheric horror movies of each year. Might be a little too specific, but I'm not going to throw away that idea entirely. I'm going to put a separate heading here. Apologies for all of this. Ooh. You big boy. Okay. What was... Okay. All right, so we're going... Okay, I agree on Cure. So maybe we should just, like... We should just, like, green light them, right? Like, if it made the cut... Like that. And Lake Mungo's gotta make it. And... What else? What else, like, really, you gotta watch it alone? It's so perfect to watch alone. Just, meh. Strangers needs to go. I agree. What do you guys think? We need 10. I hope you know the Borderlands because it was trippy for me. I'm trying to remember the Borderlands. I might be... No, I didn't see... I don't think I saw the Borderlands. I saw Savage Land, and I didn't like it. Because it was trying to be a pseudo-documentary, but... Like I mentioned, like it didn't feel believable to me because the actors weren't very good. I don't know if I saw the Borderlands. Unless you meant the Borderlands video game movie that came out this year. I didn't see that, but didn't hear very good things. Cairo should stay. I agree with you. I do think that should stay. Sinister's a contender. Wreck can go simply because it works really well with the group too. I agree with you. Let's go. You know, honestly, I'm very torn on Antichrist, not because it's not good. It's very good. I don't know if it's like it's kind of horror. It's kind of not. I do think you should watch it alone. I'm torn. Let's see. Sinister is a contender. The reason why Sinister works well alone is because of those 8mm tapes, which is, at least for me, I think that's like the scariest part of the movie. Is like all the this button. Is those 8mm tapes are so terrifying, and the music is so good. Isn't Mandy a better group film? That's the thing. I'm probably gonna get rid of Mandy, but the thing is with Mandy is that the whole first half of that movie is much better alone. It's very slow. It's very psychedelic. It's strange. But then as you move into the second half where it becomes a revenge film, then it becomes much better with a group because there's lots of action. Nicolas Cage is being crazy. There's an acid trip. There's a chainsaw fight. I mean, this is amazing as a group. But that first half, I think, is going to be way too slow as a group. People are going to be bored. I loved it, but I think it's not going to work for people. So because it's kind of half and half, I'm going to get rid of Mandy. I loved it alone, but I don't know if it's like... Yeah. Top psychological movies from each year or unique horror concepts. I kind of like the concept idea. Sorry if I'm being confusing, guys. I got like multiple polls going right now. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Quit fast. Cannot type today. Okay. Okay. What else can we kill? Oh, I'm so violent with it. Let's see. Um, hmm. Hmm. Have I seen them? I think I have. I'm gonna look this up. I think I did see this. No, not they, them. Jesus Christ. Them. Is that with, like, the kind of young group? Yes, I have seen them. Oh my god, I haven't rated this yet? I saw this. Wow. Oh, I just added something to my letterbox. Give it a 7 out of 10. I liked it. Yeah, this is kind of a home invasion film. I've seen that. It's a good one. Most casual murder sentence ever. Yeah, maybe. Let's see. I'm gonna take out Antichrist. Just again, I'm borderline on it. This will make people a little annoyed, but I might green Under the Skin. I really do think it is so perfect to watch alone because it's so scary and trippy at the same time. Yeah, Getty Squire. I could see that. Do you need to see Rosemary's Baby alone? I'm gonna say no. And I don't think you need to see Noroi alone. You think Audition of Jane Doe could go? Any rebuttals from chat? Take out the ring, keep Ringo. Oh, yeah, you said Audition. Yeah, I wonder why I read it weird. Jane Doe needs to stay, but only if you ignore the last segment. Nah, we don't do that on my channel. Sorry, we don't play that game. We don't do the whole. This is a 10 out of 10 if you ignored this huge chunk. Like everyone who praised Wonder Woman, that was funny. Everyone's like, God, this movie's so great. Last half hour sucked though. I'm like, well, you can't give it a 10 out of 10 then if like a third of the film sucks ass. Doesn't work that way. I'm gonna have to kill it. I mean, it's Halloween, so I'm gonna say kill. Which movie should I slay next? Add Luz. There you go. Yeah, Under the Skin's here. Don't worry, Matty Man, it's here. That's here to stay. Under the Skin is fantastic alone. Granted, not for everyone, but I feel like alone horror movies are not going to be for everyone. They're going to be the weirder, the slower, the stranger. Yeah. That's fair, Nick. That is fair. Guys, do you think one of these is better to watch alone than the other? Kill Sinister. Ooh. I think some people in chat are going to have a lot to say about that. I'm kind of I don't know, I'm a little allied. Depp, I don't know. That's I don't know why I didn't, because that's a pretty good film to choose for that category. Possum, maybe? Yeah, once I finish it. I've tried to watch Possum like 4 times, and I keep just getting bored and stopping. But I need to just like buckle down, sit down, and watch Possum. And I know I sound like the most like attention deficit person, but I'm really not. Like, I actually like slower movies, but they have to have something happening would be nice. But I do need to actually sit down and watch Possum. Like, really just pick the right time. Don't do it like it's a chore. Just sit down and try to enjoy it. Midsummer can't be in the top 10. It also works in a group, and to be honest, not so scary. More with great visuals and concept. That's fair. Ringo's better to watch alone just because Asian horror is more slow pace. I absolutely hated Possum. Same. I couldn't sit through either. I did, but I wasn't pleased with myself. Yeah, you know what? I actually am going to get rid of In Cubs and Night because I watched it by myself and I watched it with someone else, and they both worked. It was just when I saw it by myself, I was scared, and when I saw it with someone else, it was more like, this is a good drama. So it works either way. I don't think it's like an essential. So I'll dispose of it. The lighthouse is just weird. I agree. It's definitely weird. I do think it works much better on your own. Also, just scrolling down again, just to refresh people with this topic, I'm looking for another video, a longer video about me talking about the best of something from every year, and these are some ideas we have so far. Doesn't have to be horror, but like I said, they tend to perform better. Could also be thrillers. Who knows? Horror comedies. Although I don't think we even get a good horror comedy every year, so that's not really good. I kind of like this third one, though. I think that's my favorite so far. It Follows also worked well with a group in my experience. Yeah, I think you're right. I'm gonna greenlight this one too. I just don't... I'm gonna go with Ringu. Unless someone from chat like has a good counter argument for the ring instead of Ringu. Boop. Okay. Alright, so what we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so we need to narrow this down to 10. And we have 4. Depp, you're gonna have to provide a good argument for why Luz, a movie no one saw, needs to beat out something like The Witch or The Night House or Midsummer. You know what though? Ooh, I might have to get rid of Night House. Those jump scares really do hurt it, and I do like the movie a lot. I think some parts are so great to watch alone, especially all the... If you guys don't know the movie, one of the coolest concepts is the fact that the house is haunted, but it's not like a ghost is walking through. The actual construction of the house will form silhouettes, or they'll form faces. And it's really cool and very disturbing. I wonder how much was done with practical effects. It looks great. And those sequences are very creepy to watch by yourself. Unfortunately, I feel like other aspects aren't. So, I don't know. I'm a little torn on this one. I would love to hear Depp argue in favor of Luz. I would love to know. Throwing one out there. I also didn't like, I know people love, A Dark Song. Ooh. Ooh. That is interesting. I did like A Dark Song. Not perfect. Ooh. Wow, you just made this more difficult. That's a good call out. It's also a gorgeous film. I mean, it's a good looking film, whether you like it or not. Hypnosis scene and Luz are hard to watch with a group, but it feels so good to take it in alone, as all the small details are really able to take it in. I did like that hypnosis scene. That was a good one. The Witch just feels like it fits so well on this list. Isolating feel and genuinely slow pace. I agree. I think that's a pretty obvious pick, but obvious for a reason. Stevie. If you're gonna keep Sinister on the list, you may as well add Insidious. Same thing in my opinion. Wow, that's a bold claim. I would add a little asterisk on that. Sinister had very quiet, scary scenes with the 8mm tapes. Like those, I feel like are really. That's where like the whole film kind of like there's like a vacuum, sort of. You kind of get sucked into like these sequences because they're so quiet and eerie, and I don't feel like Insidious had that, you know. And Insidious kind of just got louder as it went on, and the last third is just like you're practically in a carnival. So I don't know if those are necessarily comparable. However, I do know what you're saying in terms of like the amount of jump scares. The kind of, you know, like the energy that's kind of building up, and also the fact that both movies have pretty shitty endings. Although I think Sinister's is worse, actually. Sinister's got a butt ending. It does. I like Sinister, but that ending's crap. Yikes. It's an easy watch, being an hour and 10 minutes. People want to watch Celebrity. Yeah, it's gonna be a war for Sinister in chat. I really want to hear people's opinion on this. Deb, I wouldn't call it an easy watch though. Luz is very slow, and like it's almost cryptic. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to figure out what's actually happening. So I would not call Luz an easy watch. It's easy in the sense that it's short. But something being short doesn't necessarily mean that it's easy. I mean, Skinamarink is not that long, but it feels like it's 6 hours. Yeah, so torn. I almost want a Greenlight Possession because there really is like nothing like it. And because it's so crazy, because it just goes in these very bizarre directions, I feel like it is almost better to watch by yourself. Maddie Man, Hale Payman was Hereditary. That was not Midsummer. Yeah, that was Hereditary. Which is not on here. I don't think you have to watch Hereditary by yourself. I'm gonna Greenlight Possession. It's a strange pick, but I do think it like the difference between watching alone and with people, like that's a gigantic canyon, you know? Yeah, Maddie, a lot of people did. I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it. I feel like it was kind of spoon-feeding you a little bit, and it wasn't awful, but I don't know. It felt, it became a little typical, I guess. You watch a Night House with a group. Deb, can I get your thoughts on the jump scares in that movie? I know I've brought this up a couple times, but like, I want to know if anyone else, other than the other person in chat, I'm sorry if I forgot who you were, but I feel like if there's a film that was hurt by jump scares more, I haven't seen it. Because I feel like the Night House was really, both the Night House and Get Out, I felt were injured by their jump scares. I don't know your thoughts on that, but I really do think like it actively hurt the experience. Interesting. Alexander, I like how you put that. It's almost poetic. God, grave individuals. First of all, welcome to stream. I don't know if I've seen you in chat yet. Secondly, you just made this so much harder because Kill List is really solid pick to watch alone because it's so ominous. It's slow, but like it kind of gradually becomes more chaotic and confusing as it goes. Oops. Get out of here. I don't know, Depp, like, remember the jump scare where the music just started playing really loudly? That ticked me off. Like, that just annoyed me. Like, it's a very quiet scene in bed, and then it's like the speakers are just blasting. And that really frustrated me. I'd, like, grab my remote and lower the volume. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, why are you doing this? Bro, I almost forgot. Bone Tomahawk. Oh, God. No. Oh, yeah, fuck that one. Right. Bone Tomahawk. So, yeah. I have my issues with Bone Tomahawk. I think it's way too long. I think it needed better editing. There's a sequence toward the end where an injured character is like stumbling up a mountain and they just keep cutting back to him over and over. I'm like, guys, like this is stop. Like just cut. I think its tone's a little weird too. Like it seems goofy at first. That being said, there's when there is violence in that movie, it's really hard to watch. There's a sequence where, how can I describe it? How can I describe the scene from Bone Tomahawk? Let me just show you. Hold on. So, quick. Alright, so pretend this is a person. Alright, and there's a scene in Bone Tomahawk where this person turns into this, and then this happens. And it's really hard to watch. It is very difficult to witness that scene. Yeah. Whew. Hope I didn't spoil it, but I really didn't, honestly, because it's just horrifying. That sounds like Art the Clown. I have not seen a Terrifier film. I got so much shit in my last video for not putting Terrifier 3. I didn't want to see Terrifier 3 until I saw the first two. Maybe it doesn't matter, but I like seeing things in order. Maybe because I'm like quasi-autistic, who knows. But I do want to watch those. I don't know. They didn't really appeal to me, but I do know they have a huge cult fan base, and so that aspect kind of interests me right off the bat. You're not missing out that much, to be honest. Yeah. I feel like I'll give the first one a go. If the first one sucks, then I'll just be like, hey, you know what? This isn't for me. But I should watch one of them. It was very strange, actually. Yeah, Kill List has a great payoff. I recently, on my community tab, I asked my audience, I said, can you think of any trilogy where the third is the best? And I'm not going to lie, I was very puzzled by some of the answers. I mean, some of them made sense. And even ones I didn't agree with, I'm like, okay, I understand that. But then some of them were just like wrong. Like some of them just were clearly not trilogies. And other ones I just found very strange. Like their choices, like Cars 3 or Return of the Jedi as the best? Maybe. But there was some other answers. I was like, really? Like people think this one's the best of that trilogy? Okay. I was very surprised. I'm not gonna lie. Someone said Insidious 3, which I found a little odd. See, oh god, well, we just made this so much harder with Kill List. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, we have 8. Okay, so we need 2 more. Exorcist 3. I wouldn't say that's the best, but Exorcist 3 is really solid. I mean, I actually liked when someone put that answer, because someone wrote that. I'm like, you know what? I don't think it's the best, but it's really good. Unfortunately, I don't think it's a trilogy anymore. Because of Exorcist Believer. I think that's actually a sequel, and I think that negates its trilogy status. I'm throwing The Changeling out there. Ooh. I mean, we can go far back. I don't know if it would be in my top 10, though, but I'll write it. I talked about this in the last stream. The Changeling is what I think of when someone says, like, what would you call a haunted house movie? Like, if you had to find like the most like good standard haunted house movie, I'm like The Changeling. Like not in a bad way, but just like this checks the boxes. Like this has all the elements of a haunted house movie. Like The Changeling's kind of like an icon. Return of the Jedi is the best of the trilogy if you take out the Ewoks and put Wookiees. But they didn't, so you can't say that. It's really funny, though. That would have been cooler, actually. Yeah, that would have been a lot cooler. But George Lucas wanted to sell toys. That's the thing. He wanted to sell cute little bears. So that's why they're in the film. I'm sorry. I both admire George Lucas and think he's a hack. I go back and forth. When I watched Martyrs alone, I had to check out from life for a bit when it was over. Dude, I am so with you. Martyrs scared the hell out of me. And I watched Martyrs by myself in the dark at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's a terrible idea. Really unwise. Alright, unless someone really fights for it, I might delete Sinister. And you know what? I might actually delete The Lighthouse too. Just because as a horror film, Lighthouse is so borderline, you know? Like, it's definitely horror. It's just... this is getting so difficult. You guys, I need some help here. That's why I'm streaming this instead of just doing this on my own. Selfish as that sounds. Oh, actually, this is so funny. I just had a question for my brother. You guys want to answer a social question? How do you disinvite someone to a party? I invited my friend, but found out she hooked up with this guy who's going, and he's my ride. And he doesn't want to see her there. So there's some drama with people. How do you what's the best way to disinvite someone from a party because of drama with someone else? Don't be scared to say it. Star Wars was a success because it was saved in the editing room. Yeah, no shit. The jokes definitely hit. I felt that way about Irreversible. I was living in the foreign country, saw there were no English subtitles, and just sat there for a while so confused, like, what the fuck? Well, yeah, I would definitely need subtitles to watch that. Oh, God, this is so difficult. I'm going to take out the Night House. And, yeah, it's a classic, but I might have to delete the Changeling, too. And I would leave Midsummer, but I've talked about Midsummer quite a few times on my channel, and I don't want to, like, repeat myself. So I might... Nick, that's really funny. I don't know if I would put the Vanishing, just because, you know what my problem with the Vanishing was? It was a really cool concept. I love the idea of a serial killer, like, planning his routes, checking his pulse, like, becoming so particular about it. And the ending's horrifying. My problem with the Vanishing was I really, really, really hated the music. I mean, just hated it so much. Maybe it was because of the time. I had the same problem with the original Wicker Man, because it was just so 70s, like the saxophone, and but it didn't give me the horror atmosphere that I needed. Nothing was ominous, nothing was tense. It was like two different movies that were competing for the spotlight, and that really bothered me. With a different score, I feel like The Vanishing could have been so much better. I never saw the remake, but so hard. The Lighthouse is more everyone needs to shut up and read the subs or try to catch what they're saying. It's the only reason it's better to watch alone. Yeah, I mean, Lighthouse has very elevated dialogue. It's based in the early 1900s. I think I saw it in theaters. And yeah, there were people in my theater that were clearly bored because they were like checking their phones. So that's a thing. I'm going to get rid of Sinister. And I'm probably going to get rid of the Lighthouse. Sorry. And just for variety's sake, I'm going to get rid of Midsummer. I don't think anyone in my chat's going to be upset about that. Is there another movie like Nope? Oh, Nope the movie? No, I think that's great with a group. Sinister should be in the top 10. It will work so much better to watch on a laptop with headphones because the investigations of the protagonist are in his solitude. Interesting argument. Watching alone to be in the same level as protagonist. Yeah. Kill List I can see watching with a group. The only one 100% is an alone movie is Lake Mungo. I mean, Lake Mungo would probably be like near the top of that list. Like, if this was reduced to a top 5, Lake Mungo and Under the Skin would be in it, and probably Cure. I wouldn't disagree with Midsummer getting removed. Yeah, it just, I mean, just like I said, for variety's sake. I'll get rid of A Dark Song. I do like this movie a lot. But we're doing like a top 10 here, and it doesn't scream like, gotta check this one out, you know? I think it's really good, and I think it's probably best to watch it alone. But I'm not like, this is like grabbing somebody's shoulders and be like, you didn't see this? Not really. All the, like, this slow progression, I think like Depp's gonna nut. Alright, but we have 8. I'm just counting again. Yeah, and I'm pretty happy with these. I think these picks are solid. Unless anyone like really disagrees. I will say what I said about Saint Maud, and I'll stand by it, which was, if I remember correctly, you said Saint Maud is better with a group. Yep, here it is, because you need to talk to someone on what the fuck just happened. I mean, I don't think I was confused by the film. I was just shocked. Don't spoil the ending, but Saint Maud, I think, has the most effective final shot of maybe any horror film ever. And that's a very bold statement, I know. But I'm trying to think of a last shot that affected me more. And that might top it, honestly. Just to let you know, the Depp is really pushing for Luz right now. I just want to warn people, Luz is very strange and it's a little hard to follow. So I'm just gonna warn you guys that it might work for you, but there's a chance it won't too, just because it's very strange and very slow. If that works for you, go for it. It's some really cool concepts in Luz, but like, you're not gonna get something like The Witch. Like, the narrative is not very clear. It's not very linear. A lot of it is kind of based on concepts and mood. So if that works for you, A-okay, but just warning you guys. Last second of Saint Maud will always haunt me. Yeah, buddy. Mm-hmm. Like I said earlier, I'm going to do a video about jump scares, and Saint Maud is definitely getting mentioned. Poughkeepsie tapes? No, see, yeah, that was my problem I said earlier about Savage Land or Paranormal Activity. I couldn't buy it. Like, Poughkeepsie tapes, when it showed the interviews, I'm watching them, I'm like, this guy's just a bad actor. Like, I didn't buy his words. I think there's a movie called Antrim or something that had the same problem. They weren't real people to me. They were very clearly cheap actors that they hired, and just to regurgitate not particularly good dialogue. And it was just, yeah, it was hard. I don't know. It was hard for me, and if I can't get into that world, then as a found footage movie, it's going to be really difficult to work for me. The Deadliest... Oh, dude, that film sucks. I mean, Poughkeepsie Tapes is better. Antrim is terrible. Don't watch it. It's such a waste. I mean, go for it. Like, see for yourself. But I'm just telling you, man, Antrim is not good. It really is not. Alright, we gotta lose one, guys. Who said kill list? I would love your argument for why it's best to watch alone. Because I've done both. I saw it by myself, and then I saw it with someone. Why, did someone spoil something? Let me see. Haunting of Hill House. Oh yeah, I mean, just saying that isn't really a big spoiler. But, yeah, I'm just in episode 1. You know what? I'm going to get rid of Saint Maud just because of these 3, it's probably my least favorite of the 3. I do like Saint Maud, but it's like, I don't know if I would consider it essential. But then again, I don't know if I would consider Luz essential. No! Well, I want to hear arguments. Let's turn this into a debate. I want to hear Depp is the representative from Luz, and I'm assuming Getty is the representative of Saint Maud. Who represented Kill List? I need arguments. I need like 3 sentences from each of you. The only representative. Seriously, Depp, you are the only person on Earth who's seen this movie. Exact fight to the death. I'm gonna do that, Nick. I'm gonna do that Joker thing from Dark Knight, where I take a pool stick and snap it with my knee, and just throw him on the ground and go like, "Make it fast." Ah, Dark Knight was so good. 3 guys and 2 sticks. Why is that so funny to me? I put Kill List down. I said alone because when I watched it with a group, people got bored with the first half. I think the first half is a perfect setup, and then when it finally pays off, your jaw is on the floor. Okay, very good point. It's more of a slow burn with a big payoff, and it might be better to watch alone. Great. Getty? Oh, here he gave his argument. The protagonist in Saint Maud is kind of cute. There, that's my argument. Okay. Not the most compelling argument. So I guess, yeah, kind of. It's like he knows he's lost already. It's the RFK of the election. Okay, great. Depp. There you go. Luz has a lot of deep diving concepts that are awesome to get into within your own space. The actual directing is awesome, and has the most fun scene of hypnosis I've seen. I'm gonna have to dock points for the double awesome there. But I guess I know what you're saying. It's, very much a directing kind of movie. And I'm gonna say it's my second favorite hypnosis scene. This movie, Cure, has the best hypnosis ever. Also, the God scene is kind of disturbing. It's in a foreign language, I think, so that's kind of special. That was one of my favorite scenes in Saint Maud, actually, was the God scene. That was great. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Who lost the argument? I said fun. Cure is better. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I do think Depp is overselling Luz a little bit. I don't think Luz is as good as Depp is saying, but it is really cool. It's a very strange, weird film, and it has a lot of style. This is so hard. Yeah, it's fair, Depp. Yeah, Tassis I like a lot. That's what she said. What I say? Very convincing, thought-provoking arguments. Mainly the protag being kind of cute. Yeah. Yeah, but I could talk about the movie twice. I mean, there's also the possibility of including all these three and then taking out one of these. But I don't know which one of these I would actually get rid of, because I think these are all kind of perfect. Like, these are great movies to watch by yourself. Oh, man. This is tough. Sorry, I'm really blanking, guys. Why do I feel like I have to make this decision now? I can make this decision, like, tomorrow. But I feel like it's more satisfying to make this decision now. Okay. Well, I'm trying to think, because I did see Kill List couple ways, and I think it worked for both. I could leave it at 11, but I don't want to, you know? Yeah, I can't think of any of these I would get rid of. Honestly, though, never call me the nostalgia critic. Please. Honestly, if I were to get rid of something, I'd probably get rid of The Witch. I love The Witch, but it's not like you need to watch that by yourself. This is so hard. God damn it. Also, I'm just gonna leave this here while I think. I'm really torn between Kill List. Because I do think Kill List could probably work with people. Even though some might get bored in that intro, that's on them. You know what I mean? But I don't think Kill List is something that's like essential to watch alone. You watch that with your partner, I think it would be perfectly fine. And especially with the... Are movies that scare you in a group more spooky? I'm not sure I understand your question. Yeah. Also, I want to point out that I think Kill List is a better movie than both Saint Maud and Luz. I do want to... Yeah, I do want to say that, like, outright. Like, I would give Saint Maud and Luz probably a 7 out of 10, and Kill List would get an 8. I think, like, if I were to recommend a movie just on its own, like, just quality-wise, I'm like, Kill List is dope as hell. I stand by my statement that Kill List is one of the coolest horror films ever made. Okay. Deadstream. I think Deadstream would be really fun with a group. I've seen Deadstream. That's a fun one. Especially with the amount of practical effects on display. But I don't know if you need to watch that by yourself. Actually, I think that would... For me, though, I almost felt like it was suffering when I saw it by myself. I was watching it, I'm like, Deadstream, this would be so dope. With, like, a big group, you know? Does anyone want to give one last defense for Sinister? Anyone, before we wrap this up? Does anyone want to throw out another... No, Sinister should be here instead? Yeah, Depp, I know no from you. You don't need to say nope. Fucking Christ, Depp. Depp, you're such a smartass today. I love it. No one asked you. Oh my god. I'd vote Sinister. I watched Sinister with a group and we were hooked. Yeah. You know, if I'm bringing something back from the dead, that's probably not a good sign. So, here we go. That is our list. Depp, your persistence paid off. Luz is making the list. Lake Mungo, Saint Maud, Luz, Under the Skin, In Fabric, Possession, Cure, The Witch, Pulse or Cairo, and Ringu. That is our list. Now, to be fair, as I'm writing this script, give me a sex. No, thank you. I'll have to watch Luz now. I'm just going to preface this by saying, of these movies, Luz is my least favorite. However, I do think it's a very solid movie to watch alone, considering its stylism. Stylism is not a word. Considering its style, its trippiness, its directing, I think it's good. But I would put it on the list. But it would be in the bottom of the list, for sure. If I were to order them, I'm kind of spoiling my video here. I don't know if this would be the end order. If I did, from top to bottom, it would probably be like... like this. And this is not in terms of movie quality. This would be in terms of, like, best experience, I guess. It'd be like... maybe, like... it would probably look like this. Yeah, exactly. Like, Nick, like, the best alone... yeah, essential. Not necessarily, like, the best. Although, honestly, I probably would rank them pretty similar, which would probably go higher up if it was just in terms of quality. Lake Mungo, number 1. 100%. How You Got Rid of Autopsy, but I'll get rid of. Sorry, man. Some good movies have to die. I do think it would be a good movie to watch alone. I think the problem with Autopsy is the last third, both in terms of, like, the alone vibe, I guess we're calling it, and also just in terms of good filmmaking, I think the last third does suffer. It's not terrible. I don't think the last third of Autopsy is bad. It gets a little schlocky. It kind of loses the fear factor. I think some of the special effects look bad, and it just, I don't know. I don't think it was a clean getaway. No honorable mentions? I guess. I mean, we could do honorable mentions. If I did do honorable mentions, yeah. Autopsy of Jane Doe, The Changeling, Sinister would probably be in there. Top 5 would be Lake, Cure, Witch, Cairo, and Under the Skin. Yeah, solid. Lake Mungo has to be there. I mean, that movie alone is just meh. If you guys haven't seen Luz or Lake Mungo and you're trying to decide which one to watch Lake Mungo. It's so good. But don't expect like a typical horror film. Like, expect a really good documentary, and the rest will kind of come along naturally. I'll just say that. All right, does anyone have, before I'm gonna call it here. First of all, thank you guys so much for all your help here. This has been really fun and awesome and very helpful, actually. I love the mini debate we had. I kind of want to do that again. I kind of want to do like another kind of pseudo debate over movies. I think that's a lot of fun. If anyone has another idea to throw out of here, please do. In the meantime, I'm gonna just drop this one more time. Give me a second. That is my Discord. Feel free to join. We have horror discussions, recommendations. You can suggest topics for videos. We're gonna try at some point. We're gonna try to do like a movie watch along thing there. So that's still in process, or progress. So that's my Discord. Definitely check that out. And watch Luz if you're learning 5 languages at once and don't want to watch Inglourious Bastards. Yeah. Best non-supernatural horror movies. That's not bad. I might put that. How about best, like, realistic horror? Cool. Well, those are some fun ideas. I'm going to call it here, but this has been very fun for me, and I hope it's been fun for you. I got to go back and do some writing and work and all that fun stuff. But I hope you guys, video on Silent Hill, drop it in the Discord, please, because I might not remember a video topic if it's in the live stream chat. So please drop it in Discord. We have a whole channel in Discord just for like suggestions for videos to do. So please drop it there at Dep. Throw it in quick. Most underrated horror movie characters. Ooh, instead of underrated, why don't we just do best? I like that. I like this idea a lot. Thank you for that, Nick. Very helpful. I hope you come back to more streams. Come to my Discord. But I usually, in terms of like when I'm going to stream, I don't have like a really good schedule right now. I usually stream once on a weekend, either Saturday or Sunday. Usually Saturday. But I will always update that on Discord or in my community tab on my YouTube channel. So thank you guys so much for coming by. This was a really fun time for me. I hope you guys have an awesome Halloween, and I'm gonna have more horror videos coming soon. Hopefully November is still kind to the horror algorithm. We'll see how that goes, but I'm gonna release some stuff regardless, so I hope you guys enjoy. See you guys in Discord and the community tab. Getty Squire, you absolutely had my favorite comment today, maybe even for the week, we'll see, but that very much made me laugh, so thank you for that. Thank you for all the comments and suggestions. Maybe this will change if I think of something else, but honestly, I think this is a pretty damn solid list. I want to thank you guys for helping me set that up. So, you guys are awesome. Happy Halloween once again. Have a great day.